Welcome back to another one. My name is Mike Sieben, one of the co-founders here at EBB Launchpad. So for our very first brand, and in this video, we're sitting down with Brandon Young, the CEO and founder of DataDive, an amazing analytics software for Amazon sellers. And we're actually going to be updating some of the analysis that we had previously done. We're taking a look to make sure that all of our competitors are highly accurate to what we had made assumptions about months ago. And we're getting ready to finalize our very first product inside our Voyaj brand. So we sat down with him. He gives us some amazing insights, some incredible things to think about when we're finalizing what our final product is going to be. So this video was super interesting. I personally learned a lot, and I think it's a massive step in building our $1 million brand. So before we get into it, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and that you're smashing that like button. So not only can we get this out to the most amount of people possible, but also you're going to be notified whenever we put out a video that's going to help you be able to build yourself a $1 million brand on Amazon. So without further ado, let's hop right into that video. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on and getting the group here together again for our second video. So today we're going to dive in and we're going to take a look specifically at what we're going to need to build out our listing. And we're going to be looking at a few different insights that DataDive can provide us to make sure that we're giving our customers exactly what we're looking for. So Brian, I'm super excited to jump in. Let's take a little bit of a look at what DataDive can do and let us know what your thoughts are on that before we start.
Yeah, we're in a very exciting time because, in our last couple sessions with Brandon, we identified some really cool opportunities, especially for how we can kind of tackle the market. So in today's call, we're going to look into that. We're going to optimize the listing a little bit further and really just understand how to put our best foot forward. But we're so close to pretty much just finalizing our actual product, and we're going to be placing an order probably within the next week here or so. After some final negotiations, and our plan here is to launch within January, February. So really, really exciting times, and we're working closely with Brandon and with DataDive to be able to make this really just come to life. So Brandon, I'm going to pass it over to you. I know you got some cool things in store, so I'll let you dive in.
Yeah, I'm super excited about what you guys are building and doing. And I love the fact that you're walking everyone through this entire process of, coming up with ways to improve the product, feedback from the users, really diving into each of the different root words and niches and use cases, right? And figuring out how much it applies to each one. This is the right way to do product development in my mind is at some point you have to really understand what are people doing right and wrong? What are all the different potential ways people are searching and using the product? Who are your typical avatars? And then you have to create some hypothesis, right? The hypothesis is if I do this, people will want it more, right? And so you guys have come up with that with some unique things that you're creating, with the hooks underneath and some other improvements you're making to the product. And so what you're able to do now is turn around and say, let's test that with an audience, and then come back and say, you know what, that does resonate with the audience more. It's going to look better. People are going to say, I actually do want that more than all these other guys that are just doing the hanging ones. And we're going to be able to rank better because we're going to have higher click-through rate, higher conversion rate. So what I want to do here is I'm going to re-pull the dive because I want to see if the market's changed at all. And then part of that is I'm also going to look for additional keywords that may have come in through the long tail keyword side and really look at those roots again. And then today we're going to start to understand how do we start to construct the listing to try to target those different ways. So how can we use our listing writer with the data, the keyword data, and the competitor data with those different routes to set ourselves up for the best potential launch? And before you guys place this order, is there anything else that pops up that you didn't think of that you get visibility on, that maybe you make a change to the product? Maybe there's an avatar that you spot or a slightly different type of product that you can address both with, right? Either through a variation, through a bundle, through an extra feature, right? So there's so much more you can start to dig into that you want to revisit now this data before you place that order.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. And I think this is extremely valuable for the audience, and especially the ones that are maybe just getting into Amazon. They're looking to launch their first product. But how often are you looking at data? Because it does fluctuate all of the time. Is it on like a monthly cadence where you're then taking that data and you're looking at those opportunities and then you're optimizing your listing every single month after launch? Obviously, it's important prior to the order and making sure that you're changing things accordingly. But what does that look like for you? How
So
often?
before launch, I'm probably doing it every week or every 2 weeks because I really want to see that I can add competitors. So if you go over here to the master keyword list, so I'll go back and look again, and then you can just add an ASIN here to here if we missed any competitors, right? So I want to, again, just make sure my data is complete. If you're missing someone, you're missing potentially keywords that they're using to get sales that these other guys aren't, or you don't fully understand how important a keyword is if you only have 1 or 2 sellers that are taking advantage of, and there's actually 6 or 8, right? Yep. So there's a lot of different things around trying to get a complete data set. And so Data Dive is based on that. It's about really understanding the niche. And this niche tracker is not complete. It's not what we're going to fully release in the beginning of next year. We're going to be creating something that once you tear down the niche tracker and you've got 20, 30, 40 competitors that are the best selling competitors, you're going to understand 99% of the market. You're going to understand where the sales are, what your market share is once you launch, right? You're going to know, okay, I own 17% of this market. How do I make it 8? How do I make it 19, right? You're going to have a clear path to start taking more market share. Then it's going to start tracking the changes to your competitors, not just your list, but your competitors' listings. Because if they change a main image or an image, you need to know that because that's a potential threat. If they're changing content, it's likely to try to increase conversion rate, which means they're coming for you. If they do a lightning deal, you probably want to take some kind of action to make their lightning deal not as effective. Maybe you start your own, maybe you turn on a bigger coupon, right? So you can keep your conversion rate high while your competitors are running these deals, trying to choke you out and lower your conversion rate for a period of time while they increase theirs. Because incrementally, the way that the algorithm works for ranking, it's a blended average of a bunch of conversion rates and click-through rates and performance. And the more you're doing deals, then the higher your blended average of conversion rates and performance is. So you can use a regular lightning deal strategy in order to kind of choke the competitors and increase that average so that you can either maintain a high rank or start moving up in rank once you're fully optimized. Your competitors are going to be coming after you doing the same if you already own the market. So you got to keep an eye on that and use them as defense, right? So there's a lot of strategy that you guys are well aware of that Data Dive will start to give you visibility on and help you with understanding what to do, what to do. So what we're building is we're layering in our suggestive algorithms to actually tell you like, hey, you should keep an eye on this, or potentially, increase your conversion rate here, target these PPC keywords because your impression share is low, but your conversion rate's high. So stuff like that, we're going to start to actually tell you based on all of the different things that we're tracking and doing. So we're excited about that. So one of the things that, and once this niche tracker is full, we'll do it. But you just hit the dive again button. It's going to pull this new one in. We already have 28 ASINs. I think we have most of the market in here. I don't think we're missing anyone. So let's pull this again. It's like 60 seconds. We'll get refresh data. We'll see if we've missed anything, if anything's changed, who's moved, who's done what, right? And then we'll dig into the other data.
So I think while we're waiting for that to load, let's talk a little bit about some insights that we had from last time that we're looking at paying attention to this time. So I'll kind of kick it off here. I know last time we talked about potentially looking at some different color variations, but not only that, where and when we would use those color variations. I think one of the ones from memory would be that gray was mostly being used when the product was being used in people's homes. Another thing we looked at was different market segments that we potentially weren't even thinking about targeting. I know that we pulled out camping. So Brandon, do you have any additional insights on what we can kind of look at today, different angles that we can look at that might actually influence where we're going to go with our final design and as we go into production over the next month or so?
Yeah, well, let's go back in and tear down the deep dive to look at those different insights from a content perspective, really try to understand which of these competitors are winning in which niche, right? Which root word. And then And I love that. And then we'll also go back and revisit the AI product brief to look at those avatars one more time and see if the AI has identified anything else. And we can even pull that again while we're waiting, because that takes about 10 minutes or so. The first thing I want to do is probably go into the deeper keywords, because I want to make sure I have a really good idea on the search frequency of certain keywords. As travel season comes and goes, those longer tail keywords will become important. And so if there's 15 of them, that's much better or different than if there's only 3 of them. Even if, so it's a combined 300 search volume or 400 search volume now, but during the season, it might become 10,000. And so that becomes significant. And that's where you can really win when there's a spike for seasonality. Yep. So we really want to understand how deep that root goes with a search frequency as well. And I think if we look back here, we really saw some really cool insights here. I just want to go back. The value-added ideas from the AI previously were about enhanced durability, improved water resistance, increased storage capacity, easy installation and folding, enhanced organization features, improved portability and versatility. And then the avatars were travel enthusiast Emily, busy business traveler, college student, family vacationer, fitness. Now that this niche tracker just pulled, like it went and actually came back, we'll be able to see if there's any changes in the market with regards to number of actual sales. And you'll see here that this guy's actually fallen, but so has the leader. So total market volume has fallen since we first analyzed it in October. And that might be just because there was a delay in data from September. Maybe people were traveling before school. So there's a downtrend in search volume through this last quarter, but we're fully expecting there to be another increase as travel comes up here towards the holiday season, right? A lot of people travel for the holiday season. Yeah. So it's a really interesting that you've got a little bit of a dip here for October, November into December, and then December back up. But you can see that it's affecting the entire niche, not just 1 or 2 sellers. So that's the type of insight we're kind of looking for. We're like, did anyone make any gains or anything, or any drop as far as market share percentage? That's why it's more important than just looking at sales numbers. And a lot of people don't understand that. They look at their sales are down and they think that they're doing something wrong. But if conversion rate's the same, keyword ranks are the same, and your market share percentage is the same, it's the entire market that moved. It wasn't you, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then maybe the market, and then the other scenario is, the market didn't go down, but a competitor's coming after you. And what are they doing better than you? And how do you counter that? So this is where we're really going to start to play on how to display some of these things in a much better way for you to understand the market. And last time on the product brief side, I want to just go and pull this again. Remind me, how much did we dive into the AI product brief?
We didn't dive into it too much. It was kind of just like a brief overview.
Okay, so I'm going to go deeper into this now, because before you place this order, I think it's really important that you really go deeper into who your avatars are. Okay. And the ways to improve the product. So you want to hand this product brief before you make that final order. You want to hand the product brief to your factory and make sure you're including all these features. You've got some upgraded features. You really have good visibility on the market already. But let's look at it again one more time just to make sure there's nothing we're missing that people are complaining about with your competitors that you can address, right? Or something that people want that no one else has that you can address. So I'm just going to dive this, and this is going to take us, about 10 minutes. This is the AI going and reading every single listing and looking at the reviews of all of these competitors and really understanding what the feedback's been, what they have. And then the AI is going to use that data and that information to come back and make suggestions on how to improve the product, who the typical buyers are. And that's some often some really good insight. The other thing I want to do now is also go back into the master keyword list and see how much this has changed with regards to our outlier keywords. This one's a brand name, so we can get rid of it.
Yeah, that was the one. That's the one brand that isn't actually on Amazon.
Oh, did we decide to keep them because of it?
Yeah, exactly. We were discussing on keeping them because of it exactly.
Yeah, so I'm going to add them back in. We didn't really exclude any phrases, and there are no keywords that have brand names besides that, it says. Yeah, there is a lot of search volume here, and you could tell that all these competitors are kind of taking advantage of that.
Yep.
These guys are very bad at Amazon, except for taking advantage of this brand missing, which is pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and then they've got carry-on closet luggage. This guy's doing good there. Again, Solguard is there. Solguard as a root word is just pretty big.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of search volume. So just by looking at this data again, I mean, we're going to go into these longer tail keywords in a second, and we're looking at the camper accessories being pretty big, hanging closet, closet storage. So I would say closet, storage, hanging, travel. Cubes was another one I saw here. So packing cubes as a thing as well, but suitcase with closet is interesting. And then here's carry-on closet suitcase. And so these keywords, we're really trying to understand. People are going about many different ways of finding this product, which really shows us some really cool things. So this one's hanging shelves. And you can tell that the bestseller takes advantage of shelves, but these guys don't have shelves anywhere in their listing likely. Because they're not even indexed for it. Everything else they're going to have hanging, they're going to have closet, they're going to have organizer, but they don't have the one word in this phrase that they're missing is going to be shelves. So Amazon isn't giving them any rank on it because they don't think it's relevant. You have to establish relevancy by writing these keywords into your listing in the right way. Otherwise, Amazon's not going to be sure that it's relevant. And remember, your performance is multiplied by relevancy. And so if your relevancy is low, it's less than 1, you're going to fall off the map. You're not going to be able to rank high on anything. So those are the types of insights we're really trying to find is what's missing and where. Like this guy's not good for built-in or suitcase. And we can prove that by just looking for those and other keywords. And you'll see that they do okay on suitcase keywords, but built-in, they're not doing good. So it really just shows us that, what is the route that each of these competitors are missing. And it's going to be difficult, but you're going to be able to incrementally not only index, but rank for each of these so that you become, what we would consider a very strong competitor, which is indexed and ranked for most keywords and search volume. Now, if we go to the long tail keywords, we really want to look for keywords. I'm going to sort by relevancy. These are all going to be long tail keywords, right? Travel shelf, and it's just the singular of shelves. I don't know. Amazon's going to treat that differently. It's not like a typical plural is treated differently for indexing, by the way. So packing shelves, portable hanging travel shelves, hanging closet organizer for travel. So all of these are pretty relevant, and we want to bring them over. Now, the extra large, what I'd want to do is be like, okay, what are they considering extra large? This one's pretty big, right? This one's pretty big. You can see that this one's much bigger than, this one's more of a cube one than these other ones. So what are they considering large? Yours is probably closer to this size, and this guy's doing pretty good for XL. He's number 11. And this one's huge, and it's not even indexed for XL. So just by not putting XL anywhere in the listing, you end up in a situation where you're missing out. And I don't know by how much, but it's something, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the revenue from Grand Fusion, they're doing 10K a month. And obviously this is just one keyword not ranked. But then you go look at Tabatora, they're doing 31K a month, and they're ranked number 1 for that keyword.
Exactly. But you could see that they do so much of a better job at all of these long tail keywords, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're top 3 in crushing all of these different keywords. And then you get down here, carry on. They're not doing good with carry on because they're obviously doing good for closet. So that's just one little hole that they can address. But ultimately, this guy's really, really doing great from all these high relevancy long tail keywords. And this guy's only beating them because of those outlier keywords we found before. It's probably more because it's more for the home niche, which is a bigger niche, right? We looked at that last time. And yours can maybe address both. And you want to try to address both. But maybe you end up with a variation that's more for home, right? And the gray, maybe you change the design slightly for the gray one where it is geared more towards that. But you can focus on different traffic sources treat each route as a traffic source, and then maybe you need a different variation to focus on that traffic source and route. And so then when you end up with 5 or 6 variations, now you're funneling a ton of traffic into a main listing that converts highly, because you're highly focused on each of those traffic sources with a variation that speaks to that avatar that's looking for that traffic source. And I'll just add a few more of these. I mean, we could keep going down. Get rid of Grand Fusion. This is just an insert. I guess yours is an insert because it inserts into it.
Yep.
This is for an actual suitcase, so we're going to ignore it. And our relevancy is going down here, guys. So like we're going to start running into things that are not necessarily as useful.
What relevancy percentage do you typically try to keep within, and where do you stop including?
So it really depends on how sophisticated and good the competitors are. If all the competitors are good, the relevancy, you'll start to find that once you hit a certain threshold in relevancy, that the keywords really, really dive off as far as the keywords actually being relevant. Mm-hmm. But if 1 or 2 competitors are good at one thing and another 2 are good at another thing, and then you can go all the way down and find good stuff here in the 30s, 20s. Like you'll still find good stuff, right?
Makes sense.
So it really depends how good the competitors are. This is kind of the issue here with the relevancy is it's relative to how good the competitors are.
Yep.
All right. Maybe you guys launch the luggage next.
Yeah. Well, no, it's definitely in the lifeline for sure. It's just extremely large.
Yeah, and now we have bigger search volume with lower relevancy here. This is specifically
3 shelf hand closet organizer. Yep, we have 3 shelves.
Okay, here's 2 more camping routes. Long tail. This is Solgaard luggage. Probably avoid that one.
Yep.
Even though one guy is really doing well for it. And so a lot of people try to skip this step, or they don't want to really dig in. And for the call, I know that it's it's pretty monotonous, or like, people watching are like, all right, get to it. Hopefully, maybe you do a montage where you speed this replay up somehow. But I think it's important that you go keyword by keyword when you're really going to write the final listing, when you're going to make the final decision, right?
I agree. I think even for the people watching, I think it's a really good exercise, even just to see like your thought process and what keywords are relevant, because again, like you said, the relevancy score, it can be subjective at the end of the day. So
yeah, cool. All right, I think we're getting down there.
Yeah,
we found 62 keywords, most of them long tail, and we're going to bring those over to the master keyword list here. Now, these would all represent keywords that I would target at launch too with my PPC. So like when we do another call later, when you're ready to launch PPC, we'll go through the PPC launch tool to break down the keywords into routes, and really look at how the campaign structure is different when you break the keywords into route. Because what we find is that the PPC will perform similarly based on the root word. So you're not having a keyword that's performing well with one that's performing poorly. You have them kind of performing in a similar capacity. So that way you're able to keep the quality level of the campaign higher. A lot of people don't understand that Amazon will reward you based on a quality score of your PPC. And the PPC quality score is addressed at the campaign level, the ad group level, and the keyword level. So if you have, this is why we don't do multiple ad groups in the same PPC campaign. We'll just do one ad group, and then we keep down like maybe 5-6 keywords max per campaign, because we don't want too much pulling and pushing. We want everything kind of performing similarly and sorted by search volume, so you're not getting all the impressions throttled to someone else. You'll notice also that if you have like more than 15, 20 keywords or more in a campaign, Amazon doesn't serve all of them impressions. They're going to only serve the top percentage of those. So we avoid that by keeping the campaign smaller with keywords as well. So you'll be able to do all of that with Data Dive pretty automatically, and then push all those to Amazon for launch with a few clicks.
Cool.
So now we're over here. We're still seeing that these guys are still very strong. These guys became very weak even though their sales are there and they're crushing for a lot of those long tail keywords. But where they're missing are all these bigger outlier keywords, you know, that, yeah, which is pretty interesting. Closet organizer as a whole, right, is a massive one. And only the best seller is really on it. I think it's something worth targeting. And I think that, you know, we looked at this before, but you've got Granny Says, very cheap, limited time deal.
Yeah.
But
So Brandon, my first natural thought, and I'd love your perspective on this, is, you know, making a variation that's more subjective specifically to closet organization as opposed to something that goes in your luggage. So we have the jewelry and cosmetic organizer on the side. We have the additional rod on the bottom. The way that I look at it, if you're putting that in a closet, you probably don't need a jewelry organizer on the side. Potentially. And also the rod on the bottom, typically in your house, you'll have more rods or more closet space to have that additional. So is it something where we would take the approach of just launching just a plain variation, very similar to what they're launching, and trying to go after kind of like a just straight closet organization, as opposed to all these additional things that are a little bit more tailored towards travel? Or would it still be unique to have those additional things? Because, you know, some people don't have jewelry organizers, cosmetic organizers, things along those lines. So it would add some additional value to it.
yeah, I like the idea of differentiation, but also understanding the needs of that person that's using it in their home versus traveling.
Yeah.
So like you said, do they prefer the 5 shelf so that you don't have underneath? Because they have more, if they're hanging it, they have more hanging space.
Exactly.
Right. So typically they'll have a wider closet this way. They don't need it to also have the hanger on the bottom. So you can remove that. But I do like the idea of still having the jewelry organizer on the side. But what you're doing there is they have to move some clothes. They can go in, but maybe people like that, right? Because then they can put the clothes together. It kind of hides their jewelry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it can be pitched as a security thing. It can be pitched as like a space saving thing. And then you just do the 5 shelf instead of the 3, get rid of the bottom. And now you've got the added value here, and you're still in this. If you can still get to this price point or similar, you use that one for home, right?
Yeah.
For all the home keywords, which is a major niche.
Yeah. Cool.
So you'll see here that you get pockets on the side with a lot of them. So if you do a pocket and you do the jewelry organizer, like pocket jewelry, and you go down an extra shelf, like a 4 one like this with pocket, you know, and jewelry, maybe you're setting yourself up for a differentiation enough. Because this one, you see, what matters also is angle, right? You'll see that this one is more facing towards us.
Yep.
And this one's more on the side. This would be a better angle to show off your jewelry organizer.
Yep.
And your pocket. This one is more facing towards us. It doesn't have anything on the side. And you'll see that this one's more to the side, but black is really hard to see. Gray probably converts better for the home simply because you can really see the details of the product and see the features. I'll give you a tip as well from another product that I did a case study on recently. And you might get this if you're using IntelliView or PickView. I don't know what you're using for testing hypothesis. One of the things that I saw was when I compared the bestseller of shower curtains versus like some designs that I was doing with AI, I found that there was question around the quality of the design that I had, because the bestseller had a circle here that was zoomed in of the fabric.
Yeah.
So maybe I can find that for you, because I think it was really, really interesting. Here.
Okay, so you can actually kind of see. That's funny because I recently purchased not shower curtains, but curtains that go on your windows in your house. And it was hard for me it looked great quality through the image, but when I received it, it was significantly different. So
yeah, and I think a lot of people have done that, because this is something you purchase every 6 months, year, whatever, however often you're replacing this, right? So if you got burned like you just did, you're going to be more careful next time. And then this is going to settle that for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. This is like a progression of a niche that typically happens where one guy figures this out and then others start to copy.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been, it's something that hasn't been implemented in every niche that you guys can do. So you'll be able to zoom in and show, hey, look at the stitching, look at the fabric, look at the quality. This is a better quality piece. Even if it's the same, the fact that you zoom in and show detail, in people's minds, psychologically, detail is quality, right? So even if it isn't higher quality and it's the same, you're still going to win when it's yours versus theirs, simply because people are going to be able to check that box. And psychologically, they're going to think it's better. Why would you show us if it wasn't better?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So I think that that's a really great way for you to increase conversion right away. So if you do that in your search results, like for the closet organizer variation, go down an extra, do a 4 and a 5, pockets, jewelry, get rid of the hook or get rid of the hanger. And then on all of your listings, you do the splotch.
Yep.
Night and day compared to the competitors, right?
Agreed. No one else is doing it.
So I think we have a really good idea. I mean, just to be clear, now that we've added more keywords, we'll go back into the roots. We'll see. Last time we checked all of these relevant roots, and I just want to make sure none have popped up. Here's hanging closet organizer, right? Massive, right? And there's a lot of long tail keywords we don't even have here, but even 3 keywords carry 100,000 search volume. So that's worth addressing. That's worth creating a variation for. But we need to dive into that AI, and we need to understand who is buying the closet organizer and who's buying the travel one. They're different needs, but can be used the same, right? Why not take it out of your closet when you're ready to travel and then pack it with the things you need and then just throw it in your suitcase? It can serve as both. But I think more people will probably want one permanently in their home and when they travel. And if they like yours, you can put the insert card in there to show the line of them with the different colors and the different styles. And it's like for home, for travel, for camping. If you create an insert card that talks to those, you're going to get some repeat purchases for people that like your product that say, you know what, I do have a trip coming up. I didn't even think, I bought it for my house. I didn't even think about like, oh, I should get the smaller one for when I travel too, right? So now you're adding some LTV and some higher converting traffic, even if it converts really low, right? If it's 1% of people that receive that insert card, if you're selling 1,000 units a month, that's an extra 10 sales for that other variation that you wouldn't have had.
I agree. I love that idea.
And then, so as you're checking these off, these routes will then propagate into our master keyword list as well. Is that correct?
These are already in the master keyword list, so it pulls it over. What I'm trying to do is just like, I want to get a visualization by checking them and getting a visualization of, you know, what are the even the words within these routes, and then I can really start to say, okay, is the buyer of the hanging shelf the same as the closet organ? We already know it isn't, right? So I'm able to start thinking about variations. And then am I creating an all-in-one product that covers all these? Am I creating a strategy that's slightly different? And if we go to the AI product brief has been done for a while.